Good morning. We're learning about the BLoC state management system by having some fun with Flutter and Flame. This is an alert dialog on Flutter that was triggered by the change of the score of the BLoC system. The Flame system also has this type of collision detection. In addition to the alert dialog and the snack bar, we also have a Flutter drawer here with some basic capability to alter the sprites on the Flame system. Alert dialog, and this is a snack bar. As this Flame BLoC tutorial is getting a little confusing, I want to review the code organization with you. So we have this type of playlist here, right? And there's this information here if you click on the playlist. So we have the code right here on GitHub. The GitHub code is on a set of branches. This video you're watching is going to be branch 8. So if you want to see the previous branch, it's on branch 7 here. So when you first go to it, you'll be on the main branch, and you're likely clicking on this button code, and you're going to copy it to bring it down locally. What you're likely doing is on a local computer, you're going to clone it down with git clone with the URL that you got from here, most likely clicking on the clipboard, HTTPS, unless you forked it. But this is probably a pretty common workflow here. And then you change it to Pinkie tutorial, and if you do get branch, you're like, oh, where's all the branches? What you need to do is get branch -a, and then you can see all the different branches. So if you want to start off with the snack bar, which is 07, you did get checkout, and then you drop in the you drop in this identifier here. So now you can look around, you can read the instructions. At this point, once you know this technique about get branch -a, I think you can figure the rest out, right? You can just go out to Google, or if you don't already know how to use get branches, it is confusing also to get branches, I think. But the main thing is you can now use this as the base if you want it to. Let's jump right back into Cubit and BLoC communication. This tutorial initially used a single block, and it's a block, it's not a qubit right now. And it's called score. But to show how to communicate between different qubits, or qubits and blocks, I'm going to create a new qubit. So I have VS Code extensions for BLoC. I'm going to select qubit, new qubit right here. So I've selected the new qubit. I'm going to call it level. And under this blocks folder, I have this thing, subfolder qubit. So you can certainly have qubits and blocks folder, but to keep it simpler, I'm just going to put it in here. I'm going to call it level. So here's the structure. We have a blocks folder off of lib, and within this blocks folder, there's now two different things. There's a level and there's a score. The level I just created is now a qubit. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is look at the level state of this qubit, which is going to look identical to the block that we used in the previous video. I'm going to follow the same technique here. We're first going to delete the abstract, so this is a normal class. And remember that we are using equitable for this tutorial series, right? So this, if you don't have this equitable right there, it's because you don't have the Flutter equitable package installed. So the final int level. So it's like level 1, level 2. And it's going to be red here. So what we'll do is click on it. You have a light bulb. There's two different techniques. You can do the light bulb and generate the constructor, or you can do control dot. So let's So we're just focused on this variable here. It added this portion to the constructor. We're going to do copy with. So I'm selecting here. I did control dot. So now I have this section here. This portion is red here. We're going to delete it soon. Notice the props is now blank. So we'll go back on line 5 here to the level. I have it selected. I'm doing control dot again. I'm going to generate this toString right here. And it added this toString here. I'll do the same thing, control dot. And it's going to add this level in here. So I'll delete the first 2 lines. So the reason it's red here is that the constructor now is requiring something to be passed in. So let's go ahead and do that. Oops. Level initial, and we'll start off with the first level, which is 1, and it's blue. So I'll do control dot and I'll add the constant. So we now have this level initial here. Super, right? So the super class is the thing, and this is the constructor. So it's requiring this thing right here, which is level. We're going to create another state after the level has increased. And we'll put the new level. So it will be increased by 1. Okay, so we just have these 2 states, right? So this initial state, and there's the state after the level was increased. Let's go to our qubit file. And this thing wants it to be a const. We're going to create a method called increase level. When we call the method, we're going to emit the state that we just created. Level plus 1. Okay, what do you think this is, right? What is this level increased? Think about it. Well, we just created it, right? It's right here. It's the state. This state here, we can already access it because we're setting this qubit. So what is this level? Where did we get this from, right? What does this mean? Where's this level? And if you remember, we inserted the level here. So the qubit, the state we're getting it. We're already accessing the state. It's part of the qubit. But this level, we created it too, and this is the action, right? So we increase the level by 1. Okay, now we have 2 different block structures. We actually have a qubit and we have a block for the score. You could put everything in one block, and for this simple of a game, you should put everything in one block. However, for the purpose of education, we're now going to move to a multi-block architecture, so that you can understand how the block and qubits can communicate with each other. So I have it in main.dart. Main.dart is the one, it has the main function here, and it has the main stack. It has our theme, and it has the flame and Flutter axis, right? But right here in the material app, there is this block provider. So I'm going to click on it. and I'm gonna do the light bulb, and there is a convert to multi-block provider. When you have more than one block, we don't necessarily need two different blocks. We're making two different blocks to help with the education process. So this is the file that we just created. It's the level qubit. Now we're providing the blocks to the score block and the level qubit block all the way down the tree. We created this name level qubit, right? So this is the name that we chose right there and right there. Block provider is a keyword from the Flutter BLoC, the Flutter BLoC package, not the Flame BLoC package. Right now we have a Flutter layer that has the score. I want to show the level, what level you're on as the first step. Okay, so go to the Flutter layer.dart, and we have a row here. There's a text and the text button. So let's put the text, want the level first, so at least we can see the placement here. And we just added this level in here, but we need to access the qubit. Different ways to do it, but maybe a quick way is to we're going to rebuild that one widget. So level qubit, level state. There's different ways to organize it. This is a little bit confusing, but I think for the purpose of showing how the block and the qubit communicates, right? So we now have the state here from the level state. We can now access the level. The default level is 1, so ideally it will show 1, right? That we just grabbed it. So this variable, we initialized it. The initial state is 1, and that's where it's coming from. What we want to do is when the score increases, let's say maybe to 5, we want the thing to trigger and to rebuild. Well, one of the ways to connect it is in the score block. We could pass it in. So this level qubit, right, is this qubit here. And we're going to try to require it so that we have the qubit inside of here. But now our main is not working because we need to pass the qubit into the block. Okay, put it in the list. And then if you mouse over it, you can see that it's now requiring this level qubit. So the level qubit, whoops, mistake. That's actually not what we want. We want to get it from the context, right? So we want the same instance. Context dot read, which is kind of similar, and then we pass in the qubit here. Okay, now it's connected between the block and the qubit. So we have the qubit now inside. What I want to do is every time there's an increment of 5, so 5, 10, 15 for the score, I want to change the level. So if, whoops, state dot score. So remember we're in the score block, so we know what the score is at 1, 2, 3 if you hit a gem. And then I'm going to use a remainder operator. So any multiple of 5 will take an action. So this is the remainder operator. So if it's 10, so 10 divided by 5 is 2, remainder 0. So that's what this 0 is. So any multiple of 5, 0 or 5, 10, 15, it will increase. So we'll do level qubit. We have it right there. Dot increase level. Okay, let's test it out. We're checking to see what this level increases. So score has increased by 1 because it detected a collision between the two sprites. We're have a check to see if the score reaches 2. This alert dialog from Flutter comes up. It's just a sample one, so we're not actually using jet fuel or treasure chest. So hit another one here. And I think this screen only has 4 gems. I need to add another gem. But we have a test button here for the score, so I can increase the score, and the level does increase. On the Pinkie game.dart file, I'm going to add a couple more gems to help with the testing at this point. Okay, we have more gems here. Okay, so we have it triggered at alert dialog at 2 for the test, 3, 4. At 4 we have a snack bar from Flutter pop open. We can also check our drawer right now and it's still working. At 5 the score here, or the level, does increase. In the next video, we will delete the assets on each level and then add a new level in. But we need to create the levels first. Okay, I'm going to just do a few minor modifications to the drawer. Okay. Let's try to close it when you have that pink. Okay. And we'll add the navigator.pop to the rest of them. Where'd it go? This will shut the drawer. So if you're trying to follow along, you may want to subscribe to the channel because we're going to continue actually with this video series for a couple more. I do want to at least get the levels to change. So once once we have this level, in sort of a block state management, we can just check for it and then change the flame system layer with a new graphics or new gem placement. When you increase the level, the gem spacing, the location of the gems does change, right? So in this case, it's coins. Well, have a great day. Congratulations on learning BLoC and trying to improve your skills to have more fun with Flutter and Flame. Have a great day.